What's up guys, Shockwave640 here, and today I'm back. And what we have today is the review for the Transformers Age of Extinction Deluxe Class Dinobot SCORN. And of course, here is Dinobot SCORN, and just right off the bat, I'm going to say that this is definitely my favorite figure from the Age of Extinction line. Granted, it's one of the only few that I have, but from what I've seen review-wise and seeing from all the other Dinobots, I really like this guy and Grimlock the most. It's a hard decision between them, looks-wise, but playability-wise and just functionality and the way they work, definitely SCORN. So yeah, let's get down to the review. First, as always, we are going to do our size comparisons. So let's bring in a few other dinosaur dragon characters. So here we have the Commander class Predaking, right there. Here we have his fellow Dinobot buddies, and Springtrap over there. Here we have Slog, or Slag, or whatever his name is, and a Grimlock. As you can see, just how he scales right there. Predaking, because he fell too. As soon as everybody started moving, everybody just started kind of falling down. So, there we go. There we go. And there we go. So let's just kind of set them all off to the side. And we will come in here and take a look at the details for SCORN himself. Sorry about that, just kind of moving Grimlock. So getting here close and taking a look at the head sculpt. Very nice head sculpt, very nice details in there. Sadly, not a lot of it is picked out in paint, but you see the gunmetal gray above the eyes. See the nice teal, like light blue eyes, or more of a teal color in real life, sort of. He's got his nice silver bottom jaw, and the top jaw is done in the gunmetal gray. His top teeth are painted in silver, which is nice. There's a little bit of difference there. Going down, very nice detail here on the neck section. Some very nice orange and red paint. The red is a little bit pearlescent with a little bit of a sparkle inside. You got these nice soft bendy spikes up here with the red paint on them. Moving down, this doesn't want to tab in. Moving down along the tail, very nice shiny red paint there, and a nice silver right there. I'm pretty sure this entire thing is silver plastic with just a red paint over it, but I'm not entirely sure. Moving down to the feet, nothing really much going on down here. In terms of robot kibble, you really can't see anything. I mean, the only things you can really see if you try is his hand right here. But honestly, the way that they made it, it doesn't really look like a hand right there, which is kind of cool. And then the chest, obviously, kind of sitting right there. But they did kind of mimic it here on the back. So, but you could still kind of just see the way that the head kind of just goes right there. And then it's just kind of gappy and like segmented right here. But that is due to the way that he transforms. Articulation. His head does go from side to side, although that looks kind of weird because of this thing. But that is supposed to help fill in the neck right there, because if you don't have that piece, the neck is really skinny and weird looking. So they come with this little piece right here to kind of help fill that neck in. He can look up, but again, it just gets weird looking if you try to make him look up. His mouth does open very, very wide. There we go. He can have his mouth opening almost Exorcist-wise. You can tell that it is only supposed to open about right here. Maybe a little bit further. It's supposed to open about there because you can see the sides of the cheek. If you start opening it even more, it starts to look kind of weird. But about here, this is about how far it's supposed to open. I like to open it to about there just because it looks a little bit more menacing. The little arms here are on ball joints, so you can get those moving around. The legs here are on a ball joint. They can go in. Can't really go out unless you move this piece a little bit. Then they can go out a little bit more. You have this forward knee right here, but that's more for transformation. That can go way far forward. You have a swivel here, and they can't really go back any, and the feet do nothing. If you untab the tail from the section, which is probably going to do by itself, you can make the tail go up. You can waggle the tail side to side, and you can, if you turn the tail, kind of get the tail moving around. Sadly, there's no more joints in here because this is kind of stiff plastic, so you're not really going to get any more movement out of that. But very cool, very cool. I do quite like him. Now for the transformation, which is quite simple. You just want to come in here and untab these sections, spin them around, and then they are just going to tab in in these spots right here, like so, and like so. Another thing I want to mention, he's actually not screen accurate, because he's supposed to have 3 rows of spikes, so he just has the one like a normal Spinosaurus does, but I'm not really complaining, because I think the 1 row looks a lot better. You just want to come in here and flip these sections down. These are the faux bottom jaws that he has on his legs. Let's just get his legs done. So you just want to straighten out his legs all the way. They will have a natural stopping point in a few places, like so. Come in here, flip the middle toe back to make his little iron cheek boots right there, and just kind of leave his legs alone. Now what you're going to do is you're actually going to come in here and untab this section. It just tabs in this slot, that tab right there. Is going to rotate him at the waist. As you can see, a little bit of automorph going on there. It raises up the shoulders, kind of pokes the head out. Fold his waist down. You can see there are some molded details in there, which is kind of cool. Then just bring this section all the way down. Bring his legs, kind of get them situated like so. And we'll situate this section here in just a minute. Just kind of leave that out hanging there just for now. Now he's going to kind of bring his arm down like so. There you have his spear arm. Kind of bring his head all the way up so that you have him looking like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to flip this section up. Open up the mouth all the way. You want to rotate and flip out the hand so that you have his arm looking like this. And there you have Dinobot Scorn in his robot mode, and I love the way that this robot mode looks. Now, there is a few things you can do differently, and I will show you that and here just a second. But first, I do want to talk about this. Now, the way the instructions tell you is to bring this up, and this tab here will go into this section, locking everything in place, and his head fell back down. And then it just kind of tells you to bring these arms up against his back like that, leaving this thing jutting out and locking his waist into place. What I found you can do is you can untab that, bring it down to get a more movie accurate way that he can look. So you can actually bring these arms around his waist and kind of tuck them in right here, right above his pelvises, or his pelvis, not pelvises, he doesn't have more than one pelvis. Now you just have to be careful because doing this does sometimes cause the little dinosaur arms to pop off. And there you go. And then I found out, whenever you rotate his waist, it's only supposed to go this one way, so he doesn't really have a true waist swivel. What you can do, now this is going to be breaking it somewhat. I mean, the automorph gimmick, as you can see, still works. It's just the head can easily be pushed into the body, but it's still kind of stiff, as you can see. Mine is stiff, but if you twist it this way, you'll feel it kind of fighting against you. You just turn it all the way, and that will give you the free mobility of a full waist swivel. Now, it feels scary doing it, trust me, but if you do it, you will get the full waist movement. If you do that, and then you keep this butt flap section down, like so, which is kind of hidden by his crotch flap, or his loincloth that he has there. And so there we go. Stand him right there. Bringing in Predicking. So you can see how he scales with the Predicking there. Bringing in our little spring trap that you saw earlier. So you can see how he scales there with the spring trap. And bringing in, I can't ever remember his name. I don't know why. I think it's Slog. Or Snarl, that's what it was. His name was Snarl. But there he is with Deluxe Snarl. And now bringing in the king himself, Grimlock. You can see how he scales there with Grimlock. This scale does not work at all, to be honest. I mean, he should be that much bigger. He goes up to like Grimlock's shoulders in the movie, if I'm correct. But then again, just the way that they decided to do this, that's just how it's going to be. But getting close in here and taking a look at the details, you can see how he's got a very nice knight-looking helmet. Very simple, but very effective, with the nice blue teal visor and the silver mouth plate. Not really much else going on, it's just kind of plain. A bit of detail here up at the top. Here you have his gimpy little arm, which is just kind of like the hand here, and is pretty much just weird looking all around. But there is a solution for that, which I'll show you in a second. Then there you have his lance arm, which in the movie was actually more of a whip because it was kind of draping around. And yes, this is in the movie. He does have this spear arm, but like I said, it's more of a whip, not a spear. But I do rather like it as this lance spear thing. It is much cooler. And then we're just moving. Oh yeah, I forgot. Piece of transformation. You do want to open up these pieces to kind of make him have bigger shins. His legs are a little bit weird looking just because it's like really, really thin right in here. And then just something about the feet just don't look right to me. It's the entire legs just look weird. I mean, something about this guy just looks a little bit weird to me, but that's just me. And then, of course, he does have the orange and the silver Autobot logo here on his chest. Turning him around. It's pretty much just all the details you already saw in robot mode. And you can see his little faux mouth halves right here with the tongue on that side. And coming on this side, you got the tongue as well. You can see the teeth right there, which is very cool. Which kind of defeats the purpose of the dinosaur head kind of being right here. But, oh well, what are you going to do? Another weird thing is these orange pieces here on his waist don't really carry over to the rest of the body. It's kind of weird, but okay. Now, the solution for the arm. If you don't like the way that this arm looks, which I honestly hate the way that this looks, because it's just a huge hole in his arm right there, and you can clearly see straight through that. What you can do is you can fold in his hand, close up the mouth, bring this all the way up, rotate it, and then there you can have him just holding, or just with a dinosaur head hand, similar to Beast Wars Megatron or a lot of Power Ranger characters and stuff like that. And I honestly think that this looks much, much better. Just because I like the way that the whole dinosaur head arm looks on this guy, just because that looks really menacing. I mean, honestly, that looks awesome. I don't think I've ever seen a robot look that cool before with a head arm and a tail arm. But then again, when doing this, he doesn't have any real hands. Another thing I want to mention is right in here in the bottom of his tail, he does have a little knife right here, which you can make him actually hold in this hand. Just kind of close the mouth around it, and you can have him holding that. What you're supposed to actually do, though, is use the hand, which can hold the weapon as well. Kind of hold it like that. But the way that his hand looks just doesn't look right. So what I usually end up doing, displaying him, is just holding it here, just closing his mouth tight around it, and then you can just kind of get him pointing it however you wish, like so. And then I usually just have him kind of with his lance like that, holding his little knife dagger like so. This is usually about how I have him displayed. So very cool. Let's actually get in here and take a look at the details of his little knife. Very plain. I'm not really too big of a fan of this weapon. I mean, the knife looks cool. I mean, I would love to have a knife that looked like this in real life. I mean, very cool, nice jagged blade, but just, it's plain. I wish I had some kind of paint on it. Maybe the blade, if it was done in silver, or like a little bit of silver picked out here. Other than that, it's just plain. And to pop it back into the sword, you just bring up the sword. You just want to make sure this little spike here and the spikes are facing down, and just kind of slide it in, like so. And it just holds in very nicely. Just be careful because sometimes these spikes are a little bit sharp. But last but not least is the articulation. His head is on a ball joint, but it is kind of limited. But you can fix it if you come in here where that stress mark is on both of these sides and just kind of shave that down. It will give him a much more free-moving ball joint at the head. His arms can go a full 360. They do go in and out, although if you bring it all the way out, it locks into place due to the transformation. He does have a swivel. He does have a bend at the elbow with just 90 degrees of movement there. Like I said, if you break the waist, he does have a full waist swivel. And this arm, pretty much the same thing. This 90-degree bend there. 90-degree bend going backwards as well if you want that. And then he does have the swivel up here, which is much tighter. And then the in and out movement there. And then, of course, his mouth can open all the way if you wanted to get something crazy looking like that, which is definitely possible. His legs, they can go that far forward. They can go that far backward, about to there. And then the knee, the way the knee works is weird because he's got this hinge here for the knee, which is supposed to be the real knee, which is less than 90. But if you use the transformation knee, you can get a full bend, which is really strange, but it works. And then his legs do go out, but only about that far. He does have a thigh swivel on his really strange looking joint there. And then you can wiggle his little iron cheek boots up and down. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for Scorn. Like I said, I really, really do like the way that this guy looks. I think that he's very cool. They did him very well. I was honestly hoping that this figure would be great because as soon as I saw him on screen in the movie, I knew he was going to be my favorite of all the Dinobots in the movie. Because I love the scene where he's running and just like rolls over and impales a lot of the Decepticons on the spines on his back. I mean, that was awesome. But I do really like him. I do like him a lot. He's very cool. And compared to the other Dinobots, honestly, I'm going to have to say he's probably the best. I mean, he's the most detailed. He's the most accurate looking. But like all the other Dinobots, he's not even close to being accurately colored. They're all completely different color. But honestly, I like the way the toys are colored a lot more than the movie. Because in the movie, they're just a boring gray. So, well, guys, this was Dinobot Scorn, the deluxe class, of course. And I say, if you have the money, why not pick them up? If you find them for about 15, 20 bucks, pick them up. It's a really cool figure, very nice. A few warnings I do have is the hips do get kind of loose over time, but you can easily fix that with some clear nail polish or some floor polish or anything like that, like I did. And other than that, that's pretty much it, guys. So, well, I am Shockwave640, and I will be seeing you later. So, see you guys. Thanks for watching.